Welcome to episode 49 of Fresh Thinking by Snowden Optiro. My name's Anthony Cook, Product Manager for Supervisor at Snowden Optiro. Today I'm joined by Oscar Rondon, who is our Principal Geostatistician at Snowden Optiro. Oscar is a skilled geostatistician with over 18 years of experience in resource estimation and geostatistical applications in the mining industry, including conditional simulation, uniform conditioning, change of support, and nonlinear techniques within a range of direct commodities and mineralization styles. Oscar has a strong theoretical background, which combined with his working experience has made him sought after for the customization, development, and presentation of geostatistical training courses worldwide. The topic of this podcast is a chat about Supervisor and ISARTIS from a user's perspective and how we use them in our resource estimation studies. Thanks for joining me, Oscar.
Thank you for having me, Anthony.
Oscar, can you please comment on how you have used ISARTIS in your consulting career?
Sure. Look, Anthony, I've been using ISARTIS since 1992 when I was working in the petroleum industry. And look, I remember at that time it was really labor-intensive work to compute an experimental variogram and fit the experimental variogram. I remember using PostScript files to check how well the variogram fit the experimental variogram. When I started using ISARTIS changed all that. So the common tool that we have now, the automatic fitting or the interactive fitting of the variogram, it was a game changer during that time. During my career, I've been using ISARTIS a lot in the petroleum industry. I use ISARTIS to do what we call resource evaluation. It's similar to resource estimation, but I also use advanced techniques like factorial kriging to filter seismic attributes. And in the mining, I've been using ISARTIS mainly for advanced applications like uniform conditioning, conditional simulation, and LUC. Okay, Anthony, can you tell us about your experience using Supervisor?
Well, I've had quite a history with Supervisor. I've been using it for around 7 years now. It's a story much like many of our users. My first introduction was actually when I was working for Goldfields at their St. Ives operation. And ultimately, it was my first introduction to geostatistics. And so through using the software, I helped develop my skills. And honestly, I can't think of a single resource that I've worked on in my career that I haven't used Supervisor in some aspect.
Great. Look, Anthony, and what are the components in Supervisor that you more often use and why?
It's certainly changed over the years. Initially, I would stick to just the general EDA components and, of course, the variography. But in recent years, my involvement with other projects typically use the simulation tools, many of them which we've introduced fairly recently, and some of the other more advanced features. Oscar, in your case, what do you often use in ISARTIS?
Look, Anthony, I usually use ISARTIS for advanced applications. I already mentioned uniform conditioning, LUC, but I also recently used the simulation reduction component. It's really handy and it's really interesting. For instance, our team now has a project where we need to run simulations, indicator simulation of 4 rock types for a really large porphyry copper deposit. And we need to run sequential Gaussian simulation for each rock type. In this case, the simulation reduction component is wonderful. It's really handy because we can select the number of simulations that best sample the space of uncertainty and reduce the number of models that we can pass to mining engineers, for instance. Anthony, in your role as product manager, you are in regular contact with Supervisor's users. Can you comment on how Supervisor is being used by practitioners?
Absolutely. By far our most popular tools are variography. I don't think there's a single company that you could talk to that uses Supervisor that doesn't get involved deeply with our variography tools. In addition, we have our K&A and model validation components, also very popular. But we are seeing a trend starting where within the market, more people are picking up those simulation tools. Ultimately, day to day, it is those tools which support just the regular grade control updates, But it is worth mentioning that the global top cut components and declustering components are also seeing quite regular use.
That's correct.
Oscar, you mentioned that you are a user of iCITUS and iCITUS Neo. Can you comment on your experience using both software?
Yes, sure. Look, Anthony, what I call now that we have iCITUS and iCITUS Neo, I used to refer to the old iCITUS as iCITUS Oldie. In my opinion, it's a really powerful software. Most of the work I did as a consultant was using iCITUS, the old version. I have plenty of journal files to look through resource estimation, classifications, and all that. But look, I acknowledge it was time for a change. Yep. So I believe that the new version, iCITUS Neo, that is fully implemented in Windows and developed in Python, is great. It has the ability to customize all your work in resource estimation, and also we can have access to all these Python libraries, which is an excellent tool. Look, Anthony, with both powerful software available within the DataMine family, should we expect to have one product with the best of both of them? What users should expect?
This is a really common question that we get all the time. At the surface, it might seem like it would make sense to combine the best of each product into one super product. But when we consider how the products operate, they are extremely different. iCITUS presents a broad suite of geostatistical tools that can underpin an entire geostatistical protocol, while Supervisor leans heavily into being a companion product that really rounds out the capabilities of other tools, other products like general mining packages. When we look at the workflows themselves within each of the products, there's also some really major differences, with iCITUS enabling automation while Supervisor focuses on areas that can't be automated. The bottom line is that these are two state-of-the-art geostatistical products that together define a complete end-to-end resource estimation suite.
Yeah, I agree, Anthony. I'm thrilled to use both software, and I guess I'm lucky because I have both available in-house.
Absolutely. So that draws this podcast to a close. Oscar, thank you for joining us on Fresh Thinking and for participating in this chat about Supervisor and iCITUS.
Thank you, Anthony. It was great talking to you.
If you'd like to listen to more of our Fresh Thinking by Snow Noctero podcasts, you'll find them for free on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms.